So you've written a book, you've cleaned it up, and you've edited it yourself. Do you need an editor? Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James Winterthorne, and in this video, I want to talk about whether we need an editor to read and make suggestions on our manuscripts. So the short answer to this is yes. So roll the credits, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. No, actually, it's a very nuanced question. I think, especially as not beginning writers, but maybe writers that haven't worked toward publication, editing might seem like an option. Maybe not editing, but hiring an editor might seem optional. And maybe it is, maybe it will be in the future with these AI tools that are coming out. But it feels like an option. Like we can choose to have an editor or not, especially if we're self-publishing. And personally, I felt that way. I asked the same question of myself because it's a cost. We're asking another person to review our work. We're having to pay that person, generally not a small amount of money, to critique our work and suggest changes and potentially have our creative agency compromised. All the feelings that we have. These are all generally feelings of people that haven't been through the editing process and or are just amazing editors themselves and really don't feel the need to hire somebody for this. But in my experience and going through my first publication, I self-published my first book. I'll self-publish the second one. I probably will self-publish all of my books unless some publishing house or agent is out there right now and wants to take all of this workload off of me. I will probably self-publish all of my books. To get to a clean manuscript took, on the first book, on Chords of Fate, probably 10 read-throughs on my end and my wife's end, and hiring a professional editor. That's how much work it took to get to a pretty clean manuscript. I'm bringing this video up now because I'm in the middle of editing Ghost's Horizon. I went through an intensive AI edit. I went through and read the manuscript myself to clean it up. And I then offered that manuscript to my wife to read, and she got it back to me. And this is after doing those two edits, which I thought I provided a pretty clean manuscript. And you can see on the first page, you can see that clearly. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 errors on the first page after 2 thorough edits. That's not to disparage my efforts. It's not to disparage the program in ChatGPT or whatever other AI or grammar check that we're using. It just means that this is a long and deliberate process that requires several read-throughs. So we understand that. So we understand that this is just going to take a while. But do we need to hire somebody to help us? And so I guess my answer is that it depends. Like, the context is everything, and it depends on what you want to accomplish with your manuscript. If you want a broader appeal, if you want your story to resonate with more people, if you want to get genuine reaction to your story, Somebody that's not a program needs to read it. Ideally, somebody that has market knowledge and understands plot devices and character development and how plot should develop, what good dialogue looks like. Um, Ideally, you would want somebody with this knowledge and background to read your manuscript. You might have to put uh, your pride aside, have some thick skin, and take some feedback that will make your manuscript better. There are all sorts of people out there that would read it and give you different types of feedback. When we did Chords of Fate, I used 2 editors, so I hired 2 people. One was just amazing. So if you're in the urban fantasy genre and you go to Readsy, look for Sarah Kelly. She was great. And I will likely go to her again with the sequel to Chords of Fate. I also hired another person who I will not name because I'm not trying to disparage anyone, who I paid, who did not read my whole manuscript, who made suggestions that I felt were just terrible, and still took full payment, and who still didn't give me the help that I needed, while not trashing my manuscript. Was very red pen with some of the suggestions, which I understood why those suggestions were made, but I didn't appreciate it. And the fact that that person didn't read the whole manuscript made me question their judgment in the first place and their ability to do the work. So I had different experiences with different editors. And I understand that people are people and that I do need a person's reaction to what I'm writing. Just because we get in this bubble and we live in this world that we're writing, and we really do need an outside perspective that's a living person to tell us what they feel about the story. Because AI will give you whatever you ask for it. So you can ask it to be very critical of your work, and it will do that. Or you can ask it to be very flattering of your work, and it will do that. You can ask it to be as objective as it can, and it will give you some kind of output. But it's not a person with emotions and experiences and relatability, and you do need that when you are editing your manuscript. That person should be an editor because of their experiences and their knowledge in storytelling, and hopefully mechanics and grammar as well. So it really comes down to what do you want out of your project? Do you want to get a clean, relatable, emotion-driven story out to market and have people appreciate it for that? Or do you want to get your manuscript as quickly as possible to market, errors and all, like a rough, uncut gem, and just let it be what it is? That's up to you to decide. If you do want the polished manuscript and you want to impact people and you want your story to resonate, I really do think you need an editor. Hopefully, so you know somebody that can do that for you. Otherwise, I would suggest hiring somebody. Readsy has a lot of great editors there. This is not a sponsored video, so I'm not sponsored by Readsy. That's just who I used. And it's a great marketplace if you want someone to read your book. My advice so if you're going to pay someone to read your manuscript, my advice is to get the most out of that experience. And for me, what that means is I'm going to provide as clean a manuscript that's as close to what I envision as possible. So you could do a rough draft, send that rough draft to someone for a content read, and get their feedback on how the plot structure looks and which characters could be developed more, or maybe even which scenes are weak or which are strong and could be developed. You could have that phase, and then you get it back, make those changes, do the rewrite, then send it back for another content read, maybe with a little more, asking for a little more grammar, and then get that back, make those changes, and then send it off to another editor for a final mechanical copy line edit. You could go through all of those steps and spend $10,000-$15,000 on editing, or you can clean up your manuscript as much as you can, eliminate all the errors, get the story and the plot where you want it first, and have it read cleanly the way you want it. So it's not so rough, but maybe it could still use some adjusting. You get it very clean, and then you engage the services of an editor. You will get more out of it than you will asking them to knock the loose soil off of your diamond. And they can actually examine it more clearly and give you better advice. So that's what I would suggest is write your story, rewrite your story, clean it up, read through it again, make sure that it is delivering what you want it to deliver, and then engage the services of a professional. Then go back, make those changes, and then do it all over again. That's the way to get the most out of it, to spend, not unnecessarily spend on editing services. So do you need an editor? I'm going to say yes, but of course, your writing is your writing, and you're going to do with it what you want to do with it. So I'm just going to step off of my soapbox now. Whether you hire an editor or not is, of course, a personal and maybe even a financial decision. There are a lot of great tools out there, including AI tools that are seem to be in every program now, so they're readily available. If it's ChatGPT, if it's Grammarly, if it's Copilot, there's no shortage of AI assistants, at least right now. So thanks for sticking around to the end of this video about my ranting that you do need an editor. If you want more advice on writing, you want writing related content, or you just want to follow my journeys of novel writing, well, please like and subscribe. Click the bell, you'll be notified when new videos come out, and I'll see you in the next video. And maybe even you've even edited it.